Hello everybody, today we are going to learn how to use return value in our functions. Actually, I know it is a little bit hard to understand for the beginners how return value works, but don't worry about it. We will make many examples and after that you will understand how return value works. Let's get started. Sometimes we might encounter some functions written in Python which have a return keyword. Return means in my function, return my variable and use it somewhere else in our program. If we don't use return keyword, we cannot use our variable somewhere else in our code. And Python will return 9 type in our function for the value we are using in program. What I mean, for example, I will create here a function and I will say def and after I will say square. Okay. For the square I will say get square of x and after that column of course, and I will create a variable a is equal x times x. Okay, now if I go to other line, other cell, I will type here my function name and I will say square. Okay, and here I will say for example 5. Okay, now I try to find square of 5 and now shift enter. As you see, I didn't see anything after when I press shift enter. Now I want to type here something. I will show you what it means and I will copy this one and I will say type after that square 5 of my function. Now shift enter. As you see, it said it is 9 type. What it means, because here we didn't use return value, so it returns me 9 type. Python says this is nothing, I don't understand what does it mean, and this is 9 type, so you need to use here return value. If I create my function like here, I will copy and paste it here. If I say here, after here I will say return, okay, a, because here I said a is equal to x times x, right? Now if I press shift and enter and after that, now here let's create another cell here and I will say here this code, copy and paste it here. Okay, copy and paste it here. Now let's see our result. As you see, it said 25 because here now Python it returns me something for a. Okay, what I mean, I want to type this code now again and you will see what it will return for us. Paste it and now shift and enter. As you see, it said this is an integer value because Python returns for us for a variable, it said it returns us a integer value. Okay, this is how we can use return a keyword in our program. Now I want to create another function and we will understand how return keyword is working. I want to say here def double, okay, and now let's say number and column. Here I will say here return, okay, number times 2. Okay, if I set this one and after that let's create another slash here, I will say here double and now I want to use a float number 5.3. okay, and after that as you see it's double is set 10.6. now I want to type here, it's type double and 5.3, right? As you see, it set is float number because this function returns me a float number for me. If I don't type here return value, it will return 9 type. As you see, for example, let's delete this one and after that shift enter. As you see, it's unexpected while parsing. This is sorry, here if I say I need to type here double, for the double I need to say here number times 2, right? And I will not use return value. Okay, now if I say here something like that, after that here and for the type, as you see it said 9 type. So if I want to return something from my function, I need to use return value for in my function. Okay, and I want to talk about something about return value. Calls after return value will not be executed. What I mean, for example, here I will create another function and I will say def, let's say sum, okay, and I will say a, b and c, okay, here column, and I will say let's assign this value to x, and I will say x is equal to a plus b plus c. Okay, now I will say return, and to use return again x, and after that I will say here print I am a Python code. Okay, now shift and enter, and I will say here sum, my function name, and I will say 5, 6 and 7. Okay, now shift and enter. As you see, it said 18 because if I make addition between my numbers, you will see it make 18. But now, as you see, my print code here, I'm in Python, we didn't see it because I said calls after return value will not be executed. But if I take this code and paste it here, and after that I want to cut this code print value, okay, and I want to type it here. Okay, now let's see our result and how it is working. Okay, and now again let's copy this code and paste it here. As you see, it said firstly I'm a Python code, and after that we got our result as 18 because that what I said calls after return value will not be executed. So as you see here, we couldn't execute our code after return value, but here I type my code before return and I solve my print function here. I'm a Python code. Okay, and also I want to talk about nested functions with return value. We can create also nested functions in our programs. Okay, and also I want to show you why I'm showing you nested functions. Firstly, I want to show you how you can create nested functions. After that, you will understand how return value works well. Because if you see this example, you will understand how return value works. Okay, so I created this example for you. First, I want to create here a function. I will say again our above function double, and I will say here for the a for the double. Okay, and I will say here return a times 2. Okay, this is our first function, and shift and enter. Now I want to create another example, and I will say def and square, and I will say b for the square. Okay, for the I will say return, of course, b times b. This is our second one, and last one is I will say def sum function. Okay, for the sum I will say c, and after that here I will say return c plus 3. Okay, now I will create a nested functions here. To do that I will use print function, and I will say here sum. For the sum I will say square, and after I will say double, and now I will say, for example, let's say 2. Okay, as you see, I got my result as 19 because if I use double function, double of 2 it will be 4, square of 4 it will be 16, 16 plus 3 it will be 19, right? And after that I want to show you something here. For example, for the double function here, for the double of 2 it will be 4, right here, and square of 4 it will be 16 here. For the sum of 16 it will be 16 plus 3, and our result is 19. But I want to show you something here. For example, here if I delete something from my double function, and I will not use return value here, and but let's see how return value is working. Now shift and enter. Sorry, here I will say double 8 times 2. Okay, I will not use only return value. And after that I want to run this code, and it will say here unsupported operand type S for non-type and non-type, because it says, Python says function of double returns nothing. That's why I cannot make multiplication for function of square. Here we are not return something from our double function. That's why here double function doesn't work, and after square function of square is not will work. Of course the sum function it will not work. You understand how to use return value for in our functions, because if you don't use return value, our function will not return anything to in our program, and we will not use our function value in our code in somewhere else. Okay, this is how to use return. We can use return value in our Python programs. That's all for now. See you in the next.